my team and I started compiling this year's holiday gift guide for 2024. And I started like ranking this list of like, what's the best gift? And then I thought, what we should do instead? Let's just scratch all that, okay? Let's talk about de-influencing this year for 2024. We are ranking the top 12 worst gifts to give this Christmas, the holidays, birthdays. I mean, it's pretty all-inclusive. So without further ado, everyone, let's jump into this list. Hello everyone, I'm Julie, and for the past 5 years on YouTube, I have made a holiday gift guide every single year. We have everything from personalized gifts, sentimental gifts, luxury gifts, and pretty much like everything in between. Last year's gift guide was my favorite Amazon products, all under $25. So as we're starting to do this year's gift guide, I'm like, let's de-influence. I had this like really huge migraine last night. I started decorating the tree, and then I had to just take a break. And then Kamari took over. She was like, Mom, let me help you decorate. And then I got her to decorate, and she started putting all of the ornaments, these shatterproof ornaments on the tree, because clearly I have a toddler. I've got this Kabise running around. Her name's Khalees, but we call her Kabise. So she's like pulling the ornaments off. Kamari's putting them on, and it's great. It looks great. It's a little bottom heavy, which is like me during the holidays, but that's okay. So while I rank these top 12 worst gifts to give this holiday season, you'll also be decorating my tree with me, so we can see the final result at the end of this video. I know what they say, it's the thought that counts. And I absolutely believe that. I am someone who puts so much thought into all of the Christmas gifts I give because that's just who I am. I'm very sentimental. I love getting to know the giftee, the recipient, and just trying to figure out what they like and what they don't like. Marie Kondo, the author of The Magic of Tidying Up, she says that the purpose of a gift is just to give it. If the gift actually has a function or a purpose, that's like a bonus. So I always give with that intention in mind, right? Like, how will the giftee receive this gift? So that's the thought. When they say it's the thought that counts, that's what they mean. A thought that's full of intention. Not like, oh, hey, I just thought about this giftee and I'm just gonna throw some money at this gift and call it a day. I mean, I hate gifts like that. So in today's video, we will be ranking the top 12 worst gifts to give. We're gonna start with the least offensive, which is like number 12. We're gonna count all the way down to number 1. But this would not be a Julie Khuu gift guide if I didn't steer you in the right direction. So even though we'll be counting down the top 12 worst gifts to give, I want you to stick around for the end of the video because I do want to talk about my favorite gifts to give and receive. Number 12 of the worst gifts to give is a gift card for a local restaurant that is not even in your area, or even a local retailer that doesn't offer online shipping. So I remember when I was younger, I was actually a vegan. I was a vegan for about 7 years, and I received a gift card for an Outback Steakhouse. Okay, number 1, at that time, we didn't even have an Outback Steakhouse in my area. I would have to drive like 2 or 3 hours for an Outback Steakhouse. I get it, I'm a vegan. I can still have blooming onions, okay? But how are you going to gift a vegan, vegetarian, someone who doesn't eat meat, a gift card to a place that's all about the steak, right? Like, to me, that's like, there's no thought in that whatsoever. And that's what I hate, It's like, yes, I get it, the gift card, I can re-gift it, but what about me? What about my needs? So before you think about gifting a gift card, which I actually love, who doesn't want a gift card or like store credit or merchandise credit to like their favorite retailer or their favorite restaurant? But you have to make sure that the recipient does live in an area where they even have that restaurant. I do have friends from out of town who ping my husband, and they're always asking him like, oh, what's Julie's favorite restaurant this year? And then they'll kind of surprise me with a gift card to that restaurant, which I love. Like, my best friend lives in Portland, and I have a restaurant here in downtown Disney. It's called Naples, that I always wanted to try. So when she hit up my husband for my birthday last year, she asked him, what's a restaurant that you guys haven't tried yet you wanted to try? He told her Naples at downtown Disney, which is not in her area at all, but we have one here that's in Anaheim. She got me the gift card, and I was able to go try out this restaurant for the first time. So I love that. I love that she thought about it. She asked him, if you are clueless as to what the recipient likes, phone a friend. It's not that serious. Okay, so the next item on this list, I actually don't find like super offensive, which is why it made number 11. It's a home decor item. It's clocks. I have 0 clocks around my entire house. So if you gift gifted me a clock, there's no way I'm gonna put this up. Not only that, if you're gifting a clock, you gotta make sure that that clock, that home decor item, really fits the recipient's aesthetic. Let's say my aesthetic is like really vintage and glam, and then all of a sudden you got me this like stainless steel industrial clock. What am I gonna do with that clock? I don't even want to see the time in my house. You know, I just wanna relax. I just wanna like kick back, especially during the holidays. Like, I'm not on a time crunch. You know that clock is gonna get regifted really, really fast. And I don't even know if that other recipient's gonna like it. So say no to clocks. Now, speaking of clocks, what if you wanted to gift a watch? Like, a watch is not the same thing as a clock, okay? I've gifted many watches before in my time. I even love when, you know, you can like engrave something in the back, something about like time, you know, I've loved you for all time, or, you know, every time you look at this clock, you'll think of me, something like really cheesy, sentimental like that. That's kind of cute. But not like a huge wall clock that I'm almost even forced to put in my house, or that you would ask me for every time you stepped into my house. Hey, Julie, where's that clock I gave you? No. Do you really want me to tell you that I regifted it to someone else? I would never say that. I would never admit it. I'd probably do it, but I won't admit it. Number 10 on our top 12 worst gifts to give are flowers without vases. I hate that. I gift flowers and plants a lot. I always make sure that the flowers are cut and they're in a vase. I entertain a whole lot. I love the idea of having guests come over and bring me like fresh flowers. I love that. But you know what I hate? I hate like a bouquet of grocery store flowers that's kind of still in their cellophane wrapper, right? There's no vase. I really just have to stop everything I'm doing to look for a vase, cut the flowers, put it in water, and then kind of plop it down somewhere where my guests can see it, right? You know, you don't want that. You don't want to add extra work to the gift that you're giving. It's such a simple move. Buy flowers with a vase, or have a vase ready. You know, when I go thrift shopping, I actually always look for vases. I always look for two things. I look for vases and I look for baskets that can also be used as vases. So you're not spending a whole lot of money on an additional vase. But of course, when you're at the grocery store, they already even have those centerpieces with vases in it, right? You're really just spending like an extra $10, not a big deal. But if you already have a cachet of a bunch of vases, like just cut those flowers, put it in a vase, and then gift it. You know, everyone loves that. It's like you receive this beautiful bouquet of flowers, a beautiful plant, and I know exactly where to put it, and I really don't even have to think about it. This is for all of you boyfriends out there, okay? Especially all of you boyfriends who's visiting your girlfriend's parents for the first time this holiday season. Or if you're trying to impress someone, always remember the vase. We're still on home decor kick, and our number 9 on the top 12 worst gifts to give, I feel like we're gonna have a little bit of pushback with this one. It's picture frames. Okay, picture frames. What's worse than a picture frame that doesn't fit the aesthetic or the vibe of your home? Probably an empty one. Because for me, it's like if you presented me with a picture frame and there's a really beautiful picture in it that's already printed, it's on photo quality paper, I could reuse that picture and put it on a frame that I love. I could probably even re-gift the frame. But it's like when someone gives me a picture frame with no picture in it and it's like, hey, here's some picture frames. Like, what do you want me to do with that? You know, now it's like the extra work thing again, right? I have to look for a picture that I love, print it out, put it in the frame. What if that frame doesn't match the color story in my house? What if that frame was like, you know, modern farmhouse and all this distressed wood? And like I said, my style is like vintage and glam, right? It doesn't coordinate, you know? There's nothing that's cohesive about that vibe. So I don't really think a picture frame is like that offensive, because you don't have to spend a lot on a picture frame. You can buy like a really beautiful picture frame for less than $20. But again, you really have to think about the recipient's aesthetic, their vibe. If you want to buy a picture frame, make sure you visited their house so you can kind of see like what color frames do they have around the house. If they have all white frames, maybe do a collection of white frames on like a really beautiful colored mat. You know, something to change it up a little bit. If they have all like gold frames or all metallic frames, then you can look for a frame that's in line with their vibe. Number 8 on today's list of the top worst gifts to give are kitchen gadgets. Especially when you don't even cook. I mean, those kitchen gadgets are going to get regifted as well to like my mom or my aunt or even my sister who kind of cooks all the time. But for me, kitchen gadgets, especially for someone who cooks or entertains, is like very particular. You know, I'm very particular with the things that I bring into my home. Like I cook on ceramic cookware. So you can't give me anything like stainless steel or anything without like a silicone attachment to it. Because not only are those gadgets incompatible with the type of cookware that I use, but it actually damages those pots and pans as well. So if you want to get me a gadget, or if you want to get someone a gadget, you absolutely have to make sure that it's on their wish list. You know, like a KitchenAid mixer, a Breville coffee machine, which I love, you know, or even, you know, ceramic cookware, which I actually swear by. Just think about this, okay? You don't want to add extra steps to a kitchen or cooking process. You know, like if you got me a pasta maker, now all of a sudden I have to learn a new skill. You know, like did I ask for that? I feel pressured. Like I feel pressured already. You know, if a mixer landed in my mailbox, I'd be like, oh, this is great. Like, what do you want me to do with this? I don't even bake. You know what I mean? But if you got me like a set of really amazing Japanese knives, which I actually have on a previous holiday gift guide, I would love that. But you know, there's actually an old adage for gifting knives. Okay, you actually cannot gift knives. This is like an Asian culture kind of thing. You are supposed to exchange it for money. So if you ever wanted to gift like a really amazing knife, you try to get the recipient to give you like $1 or $2, just an exchange of cash. It's a superstition thing that I really stand by. I mean, clearly I'm very superstitious. But like a knife sharpener is really, really great. You know, there's actually a really trending knife sharpener that was on TikTok for a while. I'm gonna put it right here. I don't know if you guys have actually seen this kitchen sharpener, but it was supposed to work wonders. Like it can even cut like a piece of paper in thin air, which is pretty cool. Like novelty stuff, like really new gadgets. I think that's really cool. But like an appliance or a kitchen gadget that makes the recipient work even harder than they want to, I mean, let's just kind of stay away from that. This is probably arguably, I wanted this to top 5, but I had the team put this together and they just thought it wasn't really that offensive. So number 7 on our list of worst gifts to give is all about scents. Okay, we're talking about fragrances, perfume, cologne. It's so personal. There are so many fragrances that I like just can't stand. How would you know that if you were gifting it to me, right? Who talks about fragrances that they like or they don't like? I remember when I was younger, like in my teens, and I wanted my boyfriend to smell a certain way. So I got him like CK1. CK1 was like really, really hot back then, right? I can smell it now. It brings me back to my childhood. But it's like he hated that smell. You know, like he couldn't stand it. So even though it was filled with like really promising intent. You know, I want you to smell good. I love this smell. But it's personal to the recipient. If they don't like it, they will never use it. I don't care how much you want to smell them or smell on them, but that just doesn't work. So if you are like a parent who wants to gift, you know, a fragrance to your child, or you have a partner that you want to gift a fragrance to, even if it's like the hottest fragrance out there right now, even if it was like the best-selling fragrance, like Drakkar Noir, you know, back then in the 80s. Was that 80s or 90s? But you know, there are some hot fragrances. Even if there's something that's like a hot seller in the market right now, just stay away. Pumpkin spice, you know, Christmassy gingerbread, pine cone smelling candles. I mean, those are kind of right in line with what I'm talking about. Any type of scented anything. No perfume, no cologne, no scented candles. Those are going to get regifted too. Number 6 on today's list of the top 12 worst gifts to give is apparel. You know, an entire outfit, again, that doesn't fit your vibe, you know, or maybe it's like a relative that you haven't seen for a really long time. And then all of a sudden they're buying you like a really cheesy, you know, graphic t-shirt from like Hot Topic or something like that. You know, Noel gave me that. Noel gave me that one. Thanks, Noel. You know, he was like, oh yes, I had this aunt who I haven't seen for like eons. And all of a sudden she shows up with this like graphic tee. It's not my style. It's not my vibe. I don't even know what that graphic is. Or even Terry, you know, Terry was telling me that someone had gifted him like a triple XL shirt. And like, come on, there's no way he'll be swimming in this, you know? And he just thought, wow, what a waste of money. You know, if you're going to gift apparel, it should be something that's from their wish list. Or if you're going to gift a whole outfit, it should be from a retailer that they actually regularly shop at. I actually want to bring up that ex-boyfriend again, okay? I'm not trying to go down memory lane or anything, but you know, you make these like really ridiculous decisions when you're younger because you want to give something that's like thoughtful. But I remember my boyfriend at that time, he got me like an entire outfit from Banana Republic. And mind you, you know, Banana Republic was actually like hot back then, but it was just kind of like his version of what he wanted me to look like. That was nothing like my style. I almost wish I had a picture of that right now, but it almost looks something like this. Okay, really conservative. Like, why would a really conservative, not what a young teenager would wear at all during that time, but that was kind of like his vision of me. And I don't like that. I don't think that's a good gift. You know, it might be thoughtful, but it's not useful. you know? So I don't want you to waste your money on buying clothes for someone when you really don't know what their style is like. I just need to do a little bit more. Okay, so number 5 on today's list of the top 12 worst gifts to give are cheap gadgets and electronics. Now, everyone knows electronics is just like people love them, kids love them, but at the same time, technology gets so outdated so fast. Like, you remember those iPhone docking stations with like those Bluetooth speakers built in? I mean, not only were they huge, they're bulky. Not a lot of people like to litter their work surface with like a huge bulky speaker, let alone one that's totally incompatible with your latest iPhone model, right? Technology changes all the time. And even though you want to get like a really cool gadget, let's say you want like a smartwatch, but you know, you're only spending $20 on it. It can't even check your heart rate. It can't even go underwater. It's not even water resistant. It's really one of those like really cheapy gadgets that you would get for like a child because they love that novelty, but it's not something that I would consider for an adult unless again, it was on their wish list. If you're going to get something that's tech related, a gadget, a gizmo, you almost want to spend a little bit more money on it from a reputable vendor or a manufacturer, or one that has like really great reviews. Remember those digital frames? Like, I used to love those digital frames. You could put like 100, 200, they're like sometimes thousands of photos on those digital frames. But then again, those digital frames do get outdated. The old digital frame that I had from maybe like 10 years back, that USB charger doesn't even work anymore. So once those USB ports don't work anymore, I mean, you really can't use the gadget. So you always want to think about, you know, staying up to date with the latest technology or spending a little bit more if you're going to gift something tech. Number 4 on today's list of the top 12 worst gifts to give are engraved gifts with the recipient's name on it. I had to show you some examples so you understand what I'm talking about. Something like this, or this, or this. Do you remember Things Remembered from the mall? You know, like every cheesy mall had this like engraving shop. And Things Remembered used to hold all these like really cheesy plaques or trophies or whatever. You can engrave anything that you want on it. So I remember one Valentine's Day, my now husband, then like courter, you know, he was trying to court me, he was trying to woo me. He went to Things Remembered and he had this plaque engraved with my name on it. It was like a mirrored plaque where you can put like a little tea light in it. It's almost like an open candle flame that's mirrored, but he had my name on it, you know, my full name. What am I gonna do with this little engraved plaque with my name on it? You think I'm gonna put that in my room? I don't know. Like, was I being really hard on him? I just thought it was so cheesy. I wished I had that plaque now because I'm sentimental. Clearly, I married the guy. You know, he knew what he was doing back then. But during that time, I just thought, what a cheesy gift. Like, what am I going to do with this? It's not practical. It's personal. I love that. It's personal. It's sentimental. It's engraved. You know, there was some thought into it, but it's just not functional, you know, and it doesn't match my vibe. I left it in the box. I moved so many times. I forgot where it was. I forgot where it went. But I really wish I kind of held on to that just for like sentimental purposes alone. What we're not talking about are like personalized necklaces with maybe like an initial that's engraved in it, or maybe like a locket with an initial, which I think is really darling. I love that it's really sentimental. Obviously initials, that's like really easy to wear. But if you're buying me something that's like really inexpensive, kind of like a novelty item, I don't want you to spend too much money on it, because what if the giftee or the recipient doesn't even use it? So I like the sentiment part about it. I love that you're thinking about, you know, initials, engraving, maybe their kids' initials or something like that. But if it's something that's just as innocuous or unfunctional as just like a plaque that you're just gonna kind of put somewhere, save your money for something else. Number 3 is exercise equipment. I mean, what are you trying to say? If you got me dumbbells, I'd probably say, oh, okay, you know, that's kind of cool. Like, I can kind of tuck dumbbells somewhere. If you got me like a Pilates machine, if you got me an elliptical trainer, if you got me like this year's latest Peloton, I mean, that's great. You're rich, but where am I gonna put it? Where am I gonna put it? I had to carve out either an entire room for it. It's almost like the intent is riddled with judgment, right? Like, did I ask for it? What are you trying to say? Do I need to work out more? Do I need to lose weight? Or do you just want me to be more healthy and more fit? If that exercise equipment was like high up on my wish list, I love it. Give it to me. You saved me probably hundreds of dollars, but if it's not on my list, I mean, you really got to think about that, right? What are you trying to say with exercise equipment? It's almost like kitchen gadget. You want me to cook? You want me to lose weight? Which is it? Okay, I am almost done with all of these ornaments here. Oh my gosh, Kamari is going to be so proud of mom because I picked up where she left off, but we are still counting down. We've got 2 more items on the list, top 2 of the worst gifts to give. I get this every year. I don't know why I feel like it's so bad, but it's this huge gourmet gift baskets filled with food that I would never ever eat. You know, those Harry and David gift baskets? Those cost hundreds, like they're not cheap. Or even those like really huge Costco holiday gift baskets. You know, those are really great. I get a lot of those from like vendors, which is good because I get to re-gift it. But it's like, what are you doing giving this huge gift basket? It feels very like corporate to me. It feels like there's no thought at all. It's like I had to get something. Let me just give this, okay? I don't remember the last time I ate a fig or a date. And it's like, you know, what if the person is allergic to peanuts? And all of a sudden you have this like really huge nut assortment. Okay, so I find it offensive really for the gifter because you're spending so much money on this gift. You know, you can give popcorn. Everyone loves popcorn, and who doesn't love gourmet popcorn, right? That's really, really inexpensive. You can get like a really big tin of gourmet popcorn at Costco for like 20 bucks. I would love that because everyone loves popcorn. But what you don't love is like preserved fruit or like preserved jam or jelly or all these crackers and like, you know, a charcuterie board. I love these gifts because I host. But teenage me, like 20-something me, would hate this gift because, you know, what am I going to do with it? You know, it's like re-gifting 101. This is one of those gifts that you're definitely going to give your aunt, your grandma, your mom. You know, if you're going to a party, bring this gift. It's great. You know, hostesses love it. But for me personally, I just don't think that there's any thought into that whatsoever. And you spend like a whole lot of money on it. Okay, everyone, you made it all the way to number 1. What do you think is the worst, most offensive gift that you could give pretty much any time of year? I've been given it, and it's pets. I mean, pets. Who wants a pet besides like your toddler who's asking for it like year round, right? Nobody wants to get and receive pets. I mean, that's so offensive because it uproots your entire life, right? It's so much responsibility. You know, I'm allergic to cats. So if someone gifted me like a cat or a kitten, even though they're cute and cuddly, like that's something that I'm going to have to find another recipient for. Like that's horrible, right? So show of hands, who here has ever received a pet? How did you feel about it? Did you love it? If someone gifted a pet or like a little puppy or even a goldfish to my kids, I swear, like I would unfriend them so fast. But what about parents? Any parents out there who gifted your child like a cute little puppy, a little kitten, a little like hamster for Christmas? I mean, I want to know how your kids felt about it. You made it all the way to my top 12 countdown of the 12 worst gifts to give. What did you guys think of today's list? I mean, I can't wait to read the comment section. I actually want you to comment the worst gift that you have ever received. But beyond that, like why? Why didn't you like that gift? I know the viewers are going to comb the comment section. I can't wait to read it. I know it's going to give me so many good ideas for next year's guide on the worst gifts to give. I've been doing these holiday gift guides for the last like 4 years, right? I have so many gifts on my guide. We're talking about everything from my favorite gifts, which is like usually personalized and sentimental. I love giving and gifting like children's books with their names on it. We have had so many books with like Kamari and Khalees's names on it that to the point where I do their like nighttime reading and they can hear themselves within these stories. It's so cute and it makes them like want to learn to read, which I think is like super cute. I actually love getting beauty products. I know beauty products are like very personal, but to me, it's like there's just so many products out there. How am I going to know what to use unless you as the gifter gives me something that you know you love, you can attest to it, like you know that it's a product that you've used in the past and you love it, you know? So it's like, if I have like a personal testimony from the gifter, like give me more of those gifts. I also really love like really efficient, practical items. Like I don't mind getting household like cleaning products for me. I'm just someone who's very OCD, very type A, very, very organized. So if you got me something that's like functional, practical, or like a parent gift or a mom hat, like stuff like that. I love stuff like that. You know what's also a really good gift? Subscriptions and memberships. You know, remember we talked about like exercise equipment? Don't gift exercise equipment, but what you can gift is like a gym membership, which is really cool. You know, there's a lot of like local gyms that cost like $20 a month. You know, it's not even expensive to gift these types of subscriptions. Or even someone like, I don't drink a whole lot of alcohol, but I love gifting subscriptions to like wine bottles. For the wine connoisseur who you kind of want to expand their palette, that's a really cool gift to give. Even a magazine subscription. I mean, I know magazines are a little defunct, but for me, I'm old school. I still love thumbing through like my Architectural Digest, my Elle Decor magazine, like stuff like that, you know. Gift a subscription or a membership with the giftees like likes, hobbies, and interests. I love gifting and getting experiences like a concert or theater or even like a local workshop. Let's say you know that someone wants to brush up on like a particular skill and you can get them like, you know, photography classes or even ceramic classes. I love stuff like that. You know, just something that I would never think to do myself or I would want to spend money on myself. I love those types of gifts. Statista.com came out with this list. It was like the worst gifts to give. And I kind of like perused that list and I just thought, you know, they had a bunch of stuff on there that I'm like, that's not true at all. You know, there's beauty products on there. I don't agree with that. There's apparel on there. I mean, I get it. You know, you guys, you heard my apparel rant, okay? Don't get apparel for someone you don't know. You don't know what their style is, but do get apparel when you know that they love a particular vendor. You know, while we're on the topic of the worst gifts to give, how do you feel about regifting? Like, what's your take on regifting? Some of my favorite gifts have been regifted to me. I know this because usually the person who gifts it is like a close friend of mine. They'll say, I had no need for this, but I know that you would really love it. I love those types of gifts. I remember receiving a journal from a girlfriend who didn't want it anymore. And she regifted it to me with the intention like, hey, I know you're gonna love this and I wanted to regift it to you. So it was very intentional. You know, the regifting was really intentional. I ended up loving the journal. Like it really just kind of changed my life in so many ways. I'll plug it here. Eileen, thank you. It's Lavender's Artist of Life journal that I've actually been using for like the past 5 or 6 years. So regifted items to me are like a yes, like a total yes. You can regift items that you feel like the recipient is going to love it. The thought that you put into, hey, you know what, I can't use this, but I know someone who will. That is very intentional. It's very positive. There's a lot of good feelings that come with that. So I actually love regifted items and I don't shy away from that at all. That's it for today's video, everyone. The top 12 worst gifts to give. What did you think of my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I actually want you to write in the comments below, what is the absolute worst gift that you have ever received? And almost like why? Or have you ever gifted a gift where the recipient was like downright appalled? I want to hear that story too. I think we're gonna have so much fun reading the comments today. I hope I saved you some money today, but if you are willing to open up your wallet and you want to buy like the perfect gift, I have 4 years worth of holiday gift guides that's on the channel right now. I'm actually going to link that playlist for you right here, but you definitely want to check out last year's holiday gift guide, which is the best gifts to give under $25. We have a ton of fun holiday content coming up from now until the end of the year. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe for more from my channel. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next week.